How do you keep your prospects engaged? You can't keep saying, hey, can we have a meeting? Hey, are you ready for that call? Hey, you can't. You have to reward people for their attention. So if I send you an email and I don't want you to be irritated with me, I better make very sure that email gives you some value. Either puts a smile on your face, tells you something you don't know, offers you something you don't have, right? Every touch point. And that's where content works because let's face it, that's basically digital is where all communication is now.
Hey everyone, Eric here for Innovators Can Laugh. In this episode, we talked to B2B agency founder Anu Ramani. Anu has a lot of experience when it comes to identifying and crafting content for every touch point in the buyer's journey. If you're in the B2B tech space, I think you're going to really like this episode. Also, would appreciate your help in growing my podcast and YouTube channel. So hit that subscribe button right there. All right, let's hop into the conversation. Anu, welcome to Innovators Can Laugh. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Eric.
Oh, my pleasure. For those who don't know you, who are you and why should people listen to you?
I am a marketing buff. I have traveled widely. I have worked with tech B2B clients in Singapore, Hong Kong, in UK, in Nigeria, and now I have my own agency. And I hope that some of my experiences add value.
Okay. Before we dive into that, into your experience, I got a few rapid fire questions. Just give me the first thing that pops into your head. The first one is, what is the craziest thing you ever did to either make money or save money?
I once dressed in a chicken suit for a pitch that did not go well.
If it was a client pitch and you were the client was
client pitch, and we thought we stand out and interested, and believe me, it was stand out. It's just that it didn't sway the decision in any way.
How long were you in that chicken suit?
Just 20 minutes.
Okay.
It was excruciating.
Okay. I haven't heard that one before, Anu. So that's dedication. That's commitment, though. You got to get some points on the desire to win. I give you that. Next question for you. What's the best advice your mom or dad ever gave you?
That was my dad. And he said, try your best to rise to the top, whatever you do. I haven't told him about the chicken soup.
Okay. All right. Last rapid fire question for you. I grew up in blank, the name of the city, and my favorite thing about that city is blank. Fill in the blanks.
Okay. I grew up in Chennai, which is a city in the southeast of India. And my favorite thing about the city is its beautiful, long, golden sand beaches.
Okay. Nice. All right. So prior to launching your own agency, which is Isoline Communications, can you tell us a little bit about your background? And I know you were an associate director with a couple of other agencies before that, but I think you have a very interesting background because you lived in quite a few places. Is that correct?
That's correct. I've been quite lucky. So I started my career selling watches in India, and I rapidly learned that life in sales is not for me. And then I moved into advertising. I was always the kind of person who, back in the day, I used to flip through magazines and stop at the ads. I used to enjoy the commercial breaks in any show. I used to love advertising and marketing. And I knew that I would end up there in some way. So I then joined J. Walter Thompson. And then I moved to Singapore, where I joined the Isoline Communications Group and started. That's when I entered tech. I started working on the Nokia business. Do you remember the banana phone and the flip phone? It was that era of when the cell phone was just becoming ubiquitous. And I handled a Nokia business in 13 countries. So we were rolling out content, we were rolling out collaterals, materials, point of sale, all that sort of thing for 13 countries across Asia Pacific. And after that, I never moved out of tech. I worked on SAP, I worked on Singtel Mobile, Cisco, then I moved to Hong Kong. I continued with tech B2B. And this time I was poached into PR. So that became another sort of area of exposure for me. Okay. And then I moved to the UK and again continued. I found it's quite a transferable skill set. So if you understand tech and you can talk tech B2B, you tend to be able to move those skills around the world. So here I am. And at some point I thought I need to find something a little bit more dynamic and growth-oriented than PR, because I felt that PR was stagnating. It was the same thing again. And content marketing was just taking off. And it was just what back in the day used to be called below the line advertising. And so I got into it. And I told myself, in 5 years, if you're having fun and making money, I didn't set myself a target. I just didn't want to be losing money. So in 5 years, if I'm having fun and making money, I'll try it for another 5 years. And that's how I talked myself into becoming an entrepreneur. And yeah,
Okay.
here I am. It's been 9 years and I'm still having fun.
All right, you almost doubled the period that you gave yourself. It's been almost 10 years. So good for
Oh no,
you.
at 5 years, I thought, yes, I'm having fun and making money. So now I'm going to try it for another 5 years. Ask
O-
myself the same question next year.
Okay. Now, I read somewhere that you said you've made every mistake in the book. And I thought maybe there's a couple of stories that you wouldn't mind sharing. You gave us a sneak peek about your chicken costume pitch. You can elaborate on that, or maybe there's another story that was a mistake on your part.
Something I wish I had done sooner was I wish I had backed myself to hire people sooner. I spent a really long time questioning my business model and thinking, is this viable? Is there a market? Is this okay? I've done really well this year, but is this going to continue next year? Or was this a flash in the pan? Somehow I felt becoming an entrepreneur on my own was easy compared to the pressure I put on myself when it came to hiring people. And I thought, do I back myself to put bread on somebody else's table? I just made it so big in my head.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, you can do so much more when you have a team. And now we are, I don't know, 18, 20 people. And I just wish I had done that a little earlier and expanded our abilities and offering a bit earlier rather than waiting for 2 or 3 years before I then decided, okay, I think I'm going to start hiring.
Yeah. And tell us about the team. Are they all full time employees? Are they remote? Are they all based in the UK? How does that look?
It's a mix. So the vast majority are based in the UK and we go into the office twice a week. So hybrid like everybody else. We have some people based in France and then further out in other parts of the UK. So they come in less frequently, but when they do come in, it's a big occasion. We all have it done. Yeah, but that's the model. Most people work full time, but obviously there are people who prefer, part time or have small children, and then we just work around that.
Okay. Okay. Now, tell us about the niche. I know you primarily focus in tech and B2B. And are there specific industries like electronics or something like that?
Okay. Telecoms is our sweet spot. There's literally not a part of the telecom ecosystem that we don't know inside out.
Okay.
Go as deep as you want into the network core. We are there. IT services, very strong. Cybersecurity, very strong. Yeah, I think we haven't done much component stuff like chipsets and antennas and whatever, but we do agri tech as well. The thing about being tech B2B, right, is that a lot of the learnings you get from, say, telecoms are very applicable to broadcast, which is another field that we have a number of clients in. And what's applicable, you can take it into science. So the decision-making process, the fact it's not linear, it's more like a ball of string where you have a number of subcommittees and influencers and so on. It's not you talk to one person who talks to the next who talk. And as a field, it's evolving. And now we are talking to Gen Zs who are now your B2B purchasers because they're all like 27, 28 that they are part of the problem. Knowing how that works makes it very easy for us to get up to speed. I always say it's easy to find clients. It's hard to find people.
Okay. Now, regarding the buyer's journey, because like you said, it's all over the place. It's not linear. Are you and your agency, are you guys producing content at all the various touch points in a typical buyer's journey?
Every single touch point, yes.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and especially with a lot of tech B2B companies who have a purchase cycle of a year, right? The deal value, the ticket value is in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. Therefore, that purchase cycle lasts anywhere between, I don't know, 10 months to 1.5 years. And how do you keep your prospects engaged? You can't keep saying, hey, can we have a meeting? Hey, are you ready for that call? Hey, you can't. You have to reward people for their attention. So if I send you an email and I don't want you to be irritated with me, I better make very sure that email gives you some value. Either puts a smile on your face, tells you something you don't know, offers you something you don't have, right? Every touch point. And that's where content works because let's face it, that's basically digital is where all communication is now.
And how is your team structured, your agency structured? Do you have certain team members that really focus on a specific point of the buyer's journey? Or do you have some team members that are really focused on the channel and they're experts in that specific channel and they know where in the buyer's journey that they should operate?
We are too small for hardcore specialization. So it's like a matrix structure. We certainly have team members. We have 2 or 3 people who just know telecoms, a few like teams who know IT services, who know broadcast extremely well, so that they understand the tech, because you have to learn the tech really quickly when you get a new client. And then we also have team members who are really strong at social media. We have a team member who just does memes, like just amazing memes. So our meme game is very strong at times. Some who are really strong on long form content. Some people who do interactive content really well and who can work out that super dynamic reader journey in their heads better than others. So we tend to bring people together for different projects.
Okay. Given your experience working in the telecom industry, are there certain content formats that really work well, like at the top of the funnel, and other formats that work in the mid funnel? And I'm taking a guess here, but are memes really good for the telecom phones at the top of the funnel?
I think memes are, yeah, that kind of silly content, right? It helps to keep conversations going. It's good for newsletters. It's good for social. There are places you can use it where people are just in a like mindset. As you go deeper and deeper into the funnel, the content, more and more technical content works. More implementation level, very practical level kind of content works. The length and the form factor of the content is not important. It's the content of the content, right? So at the early part of the buyer cycle, you want to be answering basic information search, right? I want to launch a travel sim offer, or I want to launch a new analytics platform for my streaming video service. How do I do it? What do I need to know? Because there'll be somebody within the client who has been tasked with go and implement this campaign. So the first thing that person will do is Google. So you better be there when that person is doing his information search, and you better answer it. At that point, he is not ready for a fact sheet. That's how you have to think. How do I narrow my process? If I were buying this product, how would I go about it? And then start thinking in that manner. Whether you do it through a white paper or a video or an interactive ebook, it doesn't really. I think that would depend on the campaign itself. But it's more higher level to in-depth content. That would be a rule of thumb by and large.
I've read somewhere that TikTok is competing with Google in terms of the number of search queries. Do you have somebody on your team? Are you guys also doing TikTok as well? Are you trying to be present there?
At this stage, we are still exploring the potential of TikTok as a channel for tech B2B campaigns. There is an employer brand story in there, and we have a TikTok account. We are just experimenting with it, like most companies in the B2B space. At this stage, we haven't yet launched any TikTok campaigns. I see the power of it, especially when all these TikTok users who are at a younger demographic, as they go up and become part of the purchase cycle, are they still going to be doing information search there? In that case, we need to start atomizing content into that TikTok format.
Yeah. My son, he's barely 7 years old, but he's so excited that we bought him. He was at the grocery store and he saw Mr. Beast chocolate candy bar. This is in Bucharest, Romania. This is not like in Chicago, Illinois. This is in Romania, Eastern Europe. His friends at school are talking about Mr. Beast. He's never seen a Mr. Beast video, but when he saw the Mr. Beast chocolate at the candy store, he practically begged us to buy the chocolate. And it's just crazy how brands now have gone from a really mass media push where you think TV commercials, outdoor advertising, and now it's like coming very personal into your channels, TikTok and YouTube. Isn't that crazy? I mean, 15 years ago, it was a different world when it comes to B2B marketing versus today. So when you're trying to recruit talent to join your agency, what are some of the things that you're looking for that's going to be for your clients, the right fit?
Actually, the one thing I look for personally is curiosity, wanting to learn about technology and sort of finding it enriching to understand how that little part of your world works. Why, when you turn on Netflix, do you have a home screen that looks different to my home screen? And learning the analytics that goes behind it. And you have a moment, right? That little moment in your day when you think, I know something I didn't know before. And if you find that enriching, you're the right fit for us, right? Apart from that, this whole attitude of wanting to learn and being more curious. And we try to have as many people from as diverse a range of backgrounds as possible, because then you get the different perspectives and different ways of looking at problems.
Yeah, no, it's the personalization on Netflix. And I actually get an idea of what my sister-in-law's watching because she uses our password. And so I log into my account. I'm like, oh, she already saw this. And I guess she saw the whole series, so it must be good.
Pretty confused.
Yeah. It's a little confusing sometimes because I see the recommended shows and it shows I would never watch, but it's there. Okay,
Well,
what?
I went on Amazon, right, earlier this week, and I was looking for the first time ever. And so I was buying cycling shop, and I was looking, and I picked something based on ratings and what have you. And it told me that based on analytics of millions of purchases and searches, we think you should buy a size M. And I was like, wow, okay, I've not seen that before.
Yeah.
So
I read something about Target that there's 32 different items. And if they know that if somebody purchased several of these items, then they know that they're pregnant and they
yeah,
start serving
then
direct
pampers
mail.
will start
Yeah,
setting
yeah.
up.
Now, what, in your opinion, what should B2B marketers be doing today if they're going to succeed tomorrow? Anu.
I think that everybody should be experimenting with generative AI right now and seeing where it takes you, whether it's ChatGPT or some other platform. Everybody should be and is exploring how that can make our jobs more productive, more innovative. At this moment, I can't think of any way that actually human expertise and insight can be substituted, but there are so many other ways by which I think generative AI is going to transform marketing. And I think everybody should be thinking about it. I don't have any answers yet, but I'm looking at it.
In terms of output and creativity, have you guys seen big gains by using ChatGPT or other AI tools within your agency?
At this moment, no. So if you look at productivity gains, you just measure it by the amount of time that you spend doing a piece of content, right?
Mhm.
So we have found that for content as deep as ours, where you need so much of expertise and insight, it's not broadly freely available on the internet. Therefore, we have to, what we get is lots of words, lots and lots of words. And that basically just goes against our very principles. Something I keep saying in the agency is say as much as you can in as few words as you can. And ChatGPT is not able to do that for us yet. We haven't yet found it, but that doesn't mean we can take our eye off that ball. We need to keep looking at it because it's only getting smarter. And regulations are changing, like all those legal implications and so on.
Okay.
No answers. It's all in flux at the moment.
All right. Now, you're the agency owner and you've got a large team, close to 20 people. Do you miss getting into the weeds and being that
Very
sort of like
much.
that
Very
individual
much.
contributor? What's your superpower, Anu? Is it the actual copywriting?
I think it's just through sheer hours of practice, right? Years of experience. I find that I'm able to understand client problems really easily. Not really easily, but able to understand client problems well. And I'm able to apply insight and transfer ideas from other clients to solve them. I think that is just not a superpower at all. But maybe the answer is I don't have one.
Yeah. Okay. And before we wrap up, what have you shared with your kids in terms of like how you operate and manage your business? Or have they been involved whatsoever? Have they
Oh
been in
my
any
God,
sort of meetings?
they're so proud. They're not allowed anywhere near any meetings. I imagine it would be horrific for them, me, and all my colleagues if my children started working with me. But they are real cheerleaders. Honestly, we talk about parents being proud of children being proud of parents is as visceral and powerful.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have
and
you?
wherever they can help, they help. They do like everybody. My kids always say it's a rite of passage that everybody has to do my filing at home. It's always been this big thing. I'm like, everybody, yeah, you can file all my bank statements.
Okay. Are there any specific qualities that you've tried to instill in them as a business owner? Because for one thing, you got to sell. Maybe not so much now. Maybe you've got a great pipeline of customers, but in the beginning, you had to sell yourself and your services. I'm just wondering if there was something that you tried to give them a little bit of experience as they were growing up. Maybe you told them, hey, go do that lemonade stand and try to sell some lemonade. I'm just guessing here. I want to know, as a parent, as a business owner, what did you try to instill in your kids, if you tried to instill anything?
Very good question. I think, in the immortal words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, work your ass off is the one thing I keep telling them. They don't like to hear it, but yeah, I haven't talked to them much about selling. Some people are just not made for selling. Some people just don't like it. They are doers, not sellers. I don't know what my kids are going to be, or indeed anyone who joins my event. Where will they fit? But wherever you are, or whatever your expertise or your route is, don't shirk the work. If you don't put the work in, you can't become good at it. That's the long and short of it.
Okay. Anu, Ramani, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. So delightful to chat, actually. Thanks,
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah, for everybody listening, I'm going to include links to Anu Ramani's website as well as her LinkedIn profile. And I'll be back next week with another innovator from the UK. If you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button and tell others about it. That's how we go. Thank you very much.